And Old Kona had the greatest number of fish in all years due to the large schools of 1 or 2 species. And the only significant difference that I've been able to tease out of this data thus far, and I haven't done some really in-depth statistical analysis because I have to give it to a biostatistician, which I have not, but I just ran some preliminary statistics, and I found there was a highly significant difference between number of fish documented in Puako versus Mahu Kona. Not so much in Old Kona, because the differences there were driven by just 1 or 2 species. So it's really the number of fish species in Puako that is driving this significant difference. And again, Puako is a semi-protected area, and Mahu Kona is a non-protected area. And within each site, so within Puako, within Old Kona, and within Mahu Kona, we have documented no significant change in fish diversity or abundance, i.e. number of fish species or the total number of fish within each site over all the years that we've been looking at it. But again, we've only been looking at data for 4 years. This is our 5th year of looking at this, and as Jeff mentioned, with a shifting baseline study, you really need to see data for 10 to 20 years. Hopefully we'll still be here then.
We've had an Arroy eradication project that's been going on for about 2 years now. Just wondered if you noticed the difference in Arroy declining.
I actually I commented about that today. I was not here last year. I was involved in the research the first 3 years that we did it. Didn't come last year. And then in diving off Puako this year, the first thing I said in coming back up was, I can't believe how many peacock grouper are down there, Roy. And what I did not see were any of the real big ones. I didn't see any of the big, 2.5 foot long, big grumpy ones that you see down in the 40, 50 foot range. I didn't see anything like that, but I saw a whole lot of Roy that were in the 18 inches to maybe 10-inch range, which I would say is a little unusual from what I'd seen in the previous 3 years. I don't have any experience before that, but I saw a lot of small peacock grouper today, which...
Alan Samita, who was here last year and the year before, and also lived in the Puako area for a number of years when he was younger, and dove around here quite a bit. He said that he thinks that uptick in fish species that we saw in 2012 documented, he thinks that that's because of the Roy eradication. But proving that statistically would be, because we don't know how many Roy were removed, or we don't know. So.
I'm Rebecca, and I just got hired by Chad Wiggins at the Nature Conservancy. So I'm actually working on the Roy project, and I have a little update on that. So the area where we're removing Roy. Oh, sure. Sorry.
That's okay.
So the area where we're removing Roy is right off the boat ramp. It's a 3-acre section of reef. And we removed 90% of the Roy there, and we go back and check and look for more Roy. So that's been really successful. And we just did 18 months after we first started removing the Roy. We analyzed the monitoring data 18 months afterwards. And we've been starting to see some really positive results where it's all still preliminary, and this is going to be a long-term study, but we're starting to see small prey species, the things the Roys like to eat. We're seeing more of those, which is great. And the competitor species, things that are like the jacks and things that Roy compete with, we're starting to see more of those fish in the areas where the Roy has been taken out. So we're getting significantly positive results where removing Roy from the reef is having a positive effect in terms of native species coming back. So that's really good. And I think some of the monitoring you're doing is in the area, it's kind of our control reef.
Yeah, we're looking at 2 slightly different sites.
Yeah,
so the area that you're talking about right off the boat ramp, that's a ways away from any of the places where we're doing any of our diving. We've got one of the sites we do all the way at the very end of the road, at the public access site that's at the end of the road. There's another one that's right about in the middle, kind of close to the church that's on the other side of the street.
And then site 1 is the turtle cleaning station.
Yeah, and the turtle cleaning station.
Right.
So they're a ways away from.
You might have seen this year as a recruitment event where a lot of people.
That's what it seems like. It seems like there's been recruitment over the last couple of years based on the size ranges of fish that we're seeing.
Sounds like time for another Roy roundup.
Yeah, because they did a Roy. There was a big.
Yeah, we pulled out 150.
Down at the end of the road where you're at.
Yeah, 152 Roy from that area in July of 2012.
Right, yeah.
Wow.
How do you eradicate them?
With spears.
Really?
Yeah,
So it's like
a spear hunt.
It's a giant dive out.
It's a roundup.
In there and go dive.
Yeah, we put them from other islands. A lot of spear fishermen come from.
Yeah.
Another question?
Are any of the species that show up in the regular baseline accounts migratory?
No, I don't believe they are.
How does the reef compare at Puako and Makai? Is it an environment that you would expect the number of fish to be comparable?
Yeah, that's a really good question because they are different. They have different ecosystems. We don't see these vertical fingers of reefs like we do at Makai, like we do at Puako. But we haven't been able to really find an area similar to Puako that is an open area. So Bill Walsh with Department of Aquatic Resources suggested that we use Mahakona as a site to compare with the protected areas to be our non-protected area, but you're exactly right. It is a slightly different, or even significantly different environment. You don't have those vertical coral fingers. So when we see differences, you know, it's not up to us to say exactly why. It's really going to report the data. But yeah, that's a good point. So we are looking for a site that looks like Puako, but it is more open to collecting and fishing, but I don't know if that exists.
We also wouldn't be making a direct comparison between Puako and Mahakona side by side. We're looking at changes between these as they go through time. So Mahakona is Mahakona. We're looking to see if Mahakona goes down or up, whereas Puako may stay the same.
So you're not suggesting
So
a difference
we're not
because of open.
not a direct comparison.
But they are interested in looking at differences in open versus protected areas.
Yeah.
And that was their driving force for collaborating with us. We try to do this on a shoestring budget, so we're trying to limit ourselves to shore accessible areas. This year we've found a boat operator that basically just charges us for fuel, so we're very lucky we've been able to use a boat this year so far. But I'm sure we could find a similar area that might be in an open area to Puako if we knew we had access to a boat every year, which we don't know that. So, question in the back.
Hi, how will we get access to the 2013 data that you're collecting?
Right. Well, email me in November. It takes us almost all year to count this because when we go back to the Seattle Aquarium, we go back to our jobs that are, you know, take care of fish, cleaning tanks, doing other research and other things, and just keeping the aquarium running. And so we set aside a couple hours a week to look at this video, and it takes us, what, 2 hours sometimes to do just even 15 minutes of video. And we have, let's see, 7 sites. We've got 4 transect. We've got at least 8 or 9 hours of video that we have to count. So, and then in the summertime, we do a lot of other field work. So in the summertime, we don't ever get to see these beautiful pictures of Puako, and then fall comes around, and we start counting again. So we wish that we could turn around and have the data in everybody's hands in a couple months, but it usually takes us till about November.
So I do a lot of fish surveys, and I do the tally method. And I really like this method because a picture speaks 1,000 words, and it's really great as far as having that archived. But one question that came up, and I was wondering if you had challenges with counting the really cryptic small species that are hanging out in the coral heads, like potters, angelfish, things that are often collected by the aquarium trade.
Well, we hope it will influence the conservation of these reef systems in Hawaii, and that's not our role. Our role is just to record data, present data, but we're not doing policy. That's not what we do. So we would just share the data, and we would hope that it would, our goal is to conserve these areas. So, but we're simply data gatherers. We're data gatherers. We're going to report what we see. We're going to open the data up to anybody who wants it. You know, we'll write a paper, and that's the end of it.
Once we report all this information, then it becomes tools to those that have the capability to make those policy changes.